So how's everything kind of been going since the tournament? I know obviously you're recruiting and and everything right now, but
it was busy. You know, combination of season being over, and then I worked a little bit of ESPN, tried to take advantage of the opportunities there, and it was fun. But I'm glad I'm coaching. You know, several weekends recruiting, and then having some prospects in the banquet, the A game weekend. Next thing you know, we're in finals right now, just now finishing up finals, and if there was a week or so of when it's got a chance to be a little slower, it's this next week after finals and before summer school starts. So we're in a pretty good place.
Okay. I wanted to talk to you just about some of the roster turnover and kind of how you felt about that with Alex Thompson and Matthew leaving. If you could just kind of touch on those.
You know, it's interesting. Both of those guys, it was their choice. And when I say it was their choice, you know, sometimes in my history, 20 years as head coach, I can hardly remember more than a time or two where I had a hard conversation with a student athlete and spelled out the challenges of being able to contribute the following year or something like that. Some people would call it running off. I don't run people off. I just flat out don't, and I never have. Both in Alex and Matthew said Matthew wanted a fresh start for some reason. If you look at his history, several different high schools, you know, several different AAU programs. You know, he had Coach Barbie recruited him. I was coaching him a little bit, and so yeah, I just must not have pushed the right buttons with Matt. He's a very good student, good kid, good family. Wasn't, you know, would love to have had him. Alex came in and talked about maybe dropping down a level to play a more dominant role. I made sure that Alex understood that, you know, if he didn't come back, we don't beat Mississippi State in the SEC tournament in Nashville without him. He was a good teammate. He was well liked, but I understood his decision to just drop down to mid-major, where then he could be more of a dominant player on a team. So I understand in both cases, and scholarships are precious. So having those scholarships back to be able to continue to grow and develop the program, it's a win-win.
Do you see any more turnover from now until?
I don't, but I hope everybody that we have coming back.
Okay. What kind of goals have you just set for the off season? What do you want to accomplish before? I mean,
we have a lot of new players. We'll have 6 or 7 new players with only 13 scholarships. 6 or 7 is a complete roster readjustment again. But the program was in a situation where it needed 2 or 3 years of roster adjustments in order to get a solid foundation. Feel really good about the class that's coming in, but we lost the leading scorer in the SEC in KT Harrell. We lost our second leading scorer in Antoine Mason. We lost 2 of our better playmakers in Casey Ross Miller and Malcolm Canada. I mean, we lost a lot. But it was required in order for us to just somehow be competitive last year and have last year not be a disaster. And so I feel good about this group. I think this group, because we'll be a little bit more athletic, a little longer, I think it's a group that can compete in the middle of the league. If you get in the middle of the league, you can be in a bubble. If you get in a bubble, you can be in a tournament. And that's where I see this team being able to compete for a tournament.
What about Horace Spencer? He seems to be kind of the top player in this class.
You know, I would not call Horace the top player in the class. You might call him that because of where he's rated. I think there are several others that could be contribute as much as Horace can. And that take nothing. Now, he was a very important piece because he was the only frontline player we added, and he is a very athletic, very tough, very physical, hard playing power forward. He's got to gain some weight and gain some strength, which will make him more of a monster because he's not afraid of anybody or anything. And he will compete. And we needed some of that size and some of that length. He'll make us a better defensive club, particularly defending the 2-point shot. So very excited about Horace's coming to Auburn.
I wanted to ask you about Simeon Bowers. The last time, you know, that last game he was suspended against Kentucky. I don't know if you can share any more details about that, or is he good to go?
He is good to go for next season. He's lost about 6 or 7 pounds and probably going to try to lose 6 or 7 more. He's so strong in the air, so physical. Got tired at the end of the year.
Right.
Lost the bounce, lost the edge. And I really think that we feel that 10, 15 pounds off that frame is going to enable him to move better, be better defensively, be even more explosive, get him to finish some of the plays that he wasn't able to finish. We obviously are working on his jump shot and working on his his free throw stroke,
right,
to where he can be, because he did a wonderful job at getting to the foul line.
How much are you depending on him to just become a leader next year?
I think Sim can lead in many ways by example. He's got a great heart. He wants to win and compete. But I don't define at this time of the year who our leaders are going to be. I'll let that play out. Let me see over the summertime and the fall who steps forward and who leads and who follows, and I'll sort of sit back and let that all happen. But certainly as an upperclassman, Simeon's got a chance to lead us.
Now, just looking back on your first year and going into your second, I mean, how do you feel right now about that first year? And
we made a lot of progress off the court, more than I ever dreamed we could make. Fan base was incredible. Auburn family really responded. They came out, they stayed, they didn't quit on us. They didn't get much of a return on their investment because we were so challenged as far as our roster was concerned, our lack of size. And you could see it, you know, pretty much night in, night out. Kids never quit. We kept accepting coaching, and obviously winning 3 games in the SEC tournament, something that Auburn hasn't done in 30 years of basketball. That's a lot of time. 30 years, a long time. And so the fact that we were able to end the note on a high note give us a little bit of hope, I think, for the future. And so I feel good about the position that we're in, and I feel like next year, you know, we will win more,
right,
and have more success.
I know that Auburn, I think, has the longest NCAA tournament drought in the conference. How bad do you think that this program and the fans and the school and everybody just wants that?
Oh, we want to get to the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, and this past year I wanted to get there with KT and Malcolm and KC and Antoine. We just weren't good enough, and I didn't do a good enough job. And I'm hoping that next year, that's what our goals are, to be a tournament team. And I feel like we've got a better roster to do that. We've got a lot of work to do to come together. When you bring that many new people together, it'll have its challenges, but there's more pieces to work with, and so I'm excited about it. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.